Well, welcome and good evening, wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D810. This is another idea for a series. Like I said, this channel is me just doing whatever random ideas pop in my head. And I don't know. I was thinking about a game I had suggested years back to a channel called DDR Maniac 007 called Demonophobia. It's a Korean horror game, and it is extremely graphic and violent. And well, it's just there's no other way to put it. It's extremely graphic and violent. I mean, even so much so that when I suggested it to DDR Maniac, I told him that this game should not be played or even viewed by anyone under the age of 23. It is that bad. Basically, if you're 22 years old, you're too young. You're too young to see this because it's that violent. You should be 23 or older. It's that violent. But as I was thinking about that, I was thinking, you know what? Like, there were certain design decisions that, of course, the person who made the game Demonophobia made it to be as cursed as possible. They weren't exactly trying to respect individuals' sensibilities. And let's be clear, I'm a white guy who enjoyed watching celebrity, what was it, Comedy Def Jam or whatever it was. I remember back in the era, Stargate SG-1 and Star Trek and that stuff. I remember Channel 51 was Comedy Central, and Channel 52 was Sci-Fi. Between those two and 36, I'd watch that quite a bit. 36, of course, was Cartoon Network, where I'd be able to watch stuff, especially Adult Swim, Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, all those great shows. For the most part, I'd be, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I'd watch Channel 29 as well. 29 was mostly like sitcoms like Family Matters or Full House. I mean, I'm sure everyone out there remembers Bob Saget. He even had a show where he did, not only was he the person who was like the main person, like if you watched the show Full House, if there was one person you knew, it was Danny Tanner. It was Bob Saget. Heck, I'd say most of America grew up with Bob Saget. It was a fucking shame when he died. I'm like, damn. I imagine people are going to feel the same, if not worse, when Patrick Stewart passes or an Ozzy Osbourne passes. I don't know how everyone's going to react to those things. I don't know. Like, how did you guys react to Bob Saget passing away? How would you react to, say, Patrick Stewart or Ozzy Osbourne? I mean, because I would spend a lot of time, say, watching Full House or Family Matters. I still think it's interesting that Jaleel White, the actor who played Steve Urkel, was also the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, yeah, in the cartoon, in the anime, Sonic animes, back in like the 90s, the actor Jaleel White, the person who played Steve Urkel, he was the voice actor for Sonic the Hedgehog. So that's just fascinating. But not okay. I'm getting off topic. Sorry, I do that sometimes. But my bad. So I can't even stay on one Let's Play for long. I'm like, ooh, I want to do this. I think I've said it before. I feel like Fire Marshal Bill lately. That show, that sketch comedy show that Jim Carrey did in Living Color. It was Fire Marshal Bill. He's like, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Let me show you. I don't know if I can do that. Fire hazard. Now here, let me show you something. Let me show you something. I'm not sure. Either way, Jim Carrey was hilarious. There was one where he did it at school, one where he was in a hospital. It's like, give me a Hello Kitty or Hap Flintstones Band-Aid or something. It was funny. And the more he did it, he kept getting more increasingly crass. And that's kind of the thing. Like, there are certain actors and comedians who they can play both lines of that fiddle. How do you describe this shit? I don't know. I'm just trying to say that there's multiple types of humor. And take Bob Saget, like he did Full House, he did what was it, the funniest videos thing, or America's Make You Laugh or something, or what was it? It was some TV show where people like sent in videos back in the era where VHS tapes were a thing. It wasn't America's Funniest Videos. It was something like some bloopers thing. I don't remember, but it was hilarious. And really, the funniest, most entertaining part of it was Bob Saget. And of course, he was still wholesome for that. But of course, he also did stand-up comedy shows where he was nothing, not even everything but wholesome. He made the raunchiest jokes in the world. Same thing with Jim Carrey. He did a lot of stand-up shows. So did Robin Williams, and it was hilarious. And I remember what like a lot of times I'd watch, those shows like the funniest videos and Full House and Family Matters on 29. I'd watch Cartoon Network on 36. And then of course we had 51, which was the comedy channel, where it was just and back then it was like stand up comedy was a huge thing. That was the era where like Dave Chappelle started taking off and having the Chappelle show, and there was Mind of Mencia, there was the Man Show. What else was there? George Lopez did some stuff. I remember there being who was it? The Blue Collar Comedy Tour. I remember Jim Gaffigan. Yeah, and like people like Mitch Hedberg, and who else was it? Of course, Drew Carey with the Drew Carey Show and the Whose Line Is Anyway. I'm struggling to remember people. There was a person, a comedian who did music. What was his name? Stephen Lynch. He wrote like several albums worth, but I think he died. That sucks. And of course, he had the people from Jackass doing stuff like CKY or something. I forget what that was called. This was before Jackass existed. Though I wouldn't recommend doing any of the stuff they did, because I'm pretty sure all those people got really badly injured. A lot. No, Johnny Knoxville is actually in the WWE now. That's interesting. Though I think Chris Jericho and a bunch of other people are starting a new wrestling company, but I don't know what it's called. But I think I remember hearing about it. I keep hearing a lot of people keep leaving the WWE to go to it. Though honestly, if both things are big, I'd still want to watch both. But I don't remember. I don't know. I still think it'd be cool if Christian Haydenson, the guy who played Anakin in the Star Wars 3 movie, Revenge of the Sith, I think it'd be interesting like because I keep hearing they're going to do a reboot of the X-Men live movies for the MCU. What if Christian Haydenson was Wolverine? I think that'd be interesting. And I still want to see Edward Norton come back as the Incredible Hulk, but as Maestro Hulk. Gabriel Iglesias is pretty funny, and I still think it'd be interesting to have a live-action movie where what you do is I forgot what I was talking about. Live-action. Fuck, what was I? All right, Jeff Dunham, the guy with the ventriloquist guy. What if they made like the new Batman, like because I'm pretty sure I can't remember his name. The guy who played the most recent Batman, the one with the Riddler. Can't remember his name, but shit. Give me a moment. I'll remember. Fuck. He did a good job. I can't remember his name. Fuck. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. What was I talking? Oh right, Jeff Dunham. He could. Like, you guys remember Batman the animated series? You guys remember the ventriloquist and Scarface, the mafia? That's a puppet dude, and he called the other guy dummy. What if Jeff Dunham was the ventriloquist in a live action? Of course, he wouldn't be the main villain. I mean, you'd probably have like Clayface or Bane or somebody. that's considered a major player. But I would still want to see Jeff Dunham as like a side villain, as the ventriloquist in Scarface. I think that'd be interesting. Then again, I think it'd be interesting if they redid Fight Club, but instead of Edward Norton's character, you have Jim Carrey, and instead of Brad Pitt, you have Gabriel Iglesias. Like, imagine those conversations between Jim Carrey and Gabriel Iglesias. How that'd be hilarious. Then again, Brad Pitt's coming out with a new movie called Bullet Train. It looks like it has a lot of action in it. So, I want to see that. Mainly because I think Brad Pitt's really good at action movies. What was I talking about? Let's look at the screen. Right. Um, my idea is that, I was thinking that DDR Maniac, DDR, like disastrous. And I was thinking, like, what was really wrong with demonophobia? Like, what were the decisions that the developer made in the game? All right, I was talking about Channel 5152. Because I would watch the comedy shows, but also on Sci-Fi Channel, there'd be Star Trek The New Generation, The Deep Space, Voyager. But I like the one with Patrick Stewart the best. Next Generation, Jean-Luc Picard. Because I really enjoyed that. So I would like watch a bunch of Comedy Central stand-up shows. Like you'd have Larry the Cable Guy, and Bill Engvall, and Jeff Foxworthy, Ron White, and they'd all be sandwiched in between some Stargate SG-1 and some Jean-Luc Picard. And I enjoyed it. And I don't remember why I brought that up. But the main thing I'm trying to say is the DDR made me think like, I was thinking like D words, like if you were to abbreviate certain things, and I was thinking like, what was really wrong with demonophobia? And it was like, there's lots of things. I mean, it's a very long list. You could probably write a whole fucking essay. And like I said, it's a game I would not recommend to anyone under the age of 23. It's extraordinarily violent. But I at least warned, DDR Maniac 007 before he played. When I suggested the game to him, I was like, it's extremely violent. It's Korean, and it shouldn't be played by anyone under the age of 23. It's that bad. It's really, really, and I still stand by that. It's still, and everything along those lines is still extraordinarily unacceptable for the human mind. It's that violent to the point that I don't think anyone would be able to play the game and not be affected in a negative way. But of course, we all watch horror movies. We know we shouldn't. I mean, things like Hellraiser, Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, here's the thing. I know certain religious people that think just by watching Friday the 13th movies and seeing Jason Voorhees kill somebody on screen that you're going to go burn in hell for eternity. Just for seeing that, for just seeing one of the Jason Voorhees movies. I mean, that I feel is a little extreme, but, that is what it is. Then again, the same vein, people would find like, it's evil to watch the Harry Potter movies. I'm like, I enjoy the Harry Potter movies. I'm also choking on nothing. It's like I'm not even eating anything. Not even drinking anything. Why am I choking on air? Fuck. I don't even know why I do that sometimes. It's awkward when you do that in public. You're just walking around and all of a sudden you're gagging. It's like, no, I swear, I don't have the plague. I'm just choking for no fucking reason. Son of a bitch. What was I talking about? Shit. Main point was that thing I was trying to get to is there are certain games or media. I think I'll just refer to it as media. Heck, if I go disastrous, what was I going with that? Disastrous design decisions that ruined media. How about that? And heck, I could just call it Triple D. Okay, I love boobies. I'm sorry. And here's the thing. I love boobies of all size. It could be A cup, B cup, C cup, D cup, triple D cup, up and up. I mean, honestly, I'd say probably 40 triple D probably be the most fun to play with. But let's be clear, little A cups, I would still motorboat the shit out of that. I would still motorboat A cups. That being said, they should definitely belong to an older individual. You know, I would say preferably, I would prefer to probably date someone 26, but honestly, I'd say appropriate dating age stretches between, say, 18 and 40 for someone my age. I don't know. There's no fucking manual for this shit. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But the main thing I'm trying to say is this. Alright, boobs. I'm just saying this. Boobs are nice in all sizes. Of course, bigger boobs tend to draw attention. You know, there are reasons I play certain hentai games. Or fan service games like Senran Kagura. I mean, it's just... There is a lot of bouncing and a lot of jiggle physics. And it's still kind of weird that Let's Play is happening with, like, my computer is lagging so much, so the jiggle physics are in slow motion, which I don't think is hurting the experience. And it's technically fine, because technically no nudity and no, sexual acts are occurring. So it's technically not, hentai or nudity or inappropriate, because there are no nipples, dicks, or vaginas. Okay, I swear I'm going to try to stay on topic. I'm not sure what the topic is anymore. I think the point is that maybe I was thinking of an idea for a series of talking about disastrous design. Why am I pronouncing that with a letter Z in it? Disastrous design. Design. Fuck! Disastrous design. Fuck. I don't know why I'm choking. Okay, disastrous design decisions. I still feel like I'm putting like a bunch of Z sounds in that middle word. But that ruined media. And here's the thing, I want suggestions from you guys. Now, whether or not I'll make another video in this series ever, I don't know. It's not even going to be its own playlist. I remember there being a video game that I was thinking of Let's Playing that I think I made a video about this, a year ago or something? It's called Human Farm. It's where you're pig people and you're, slicing human beings up and to make food. But I think I recorded, in the game. Here's the thing, the game still hasn't even been released. And I made this video a year ago. Just me recording, I think, the Steam page or something. I think I recorded the trailer off the Steam page. I think that's what I did. I'm not sure. But it was just me talking about, how I felt about it and how I was thinking about playing it. But then I decided against it because I didn't really feel comfortable with it. Because lots of parts of the, even the trailer were making me feel icky. And yeah, I'm still on the fence about playing that game just because I don't know, it really just depends on how I feel about it. And I know sometimes my mood might affect how I feel about it. Even then, it doesn't really matter. Happy, there's times I could be feeling happy, I might be up or down for it. In the same way I might be sad or angry, I might be up or down for it. So a lot of times I wouldn't even say my mood affects it, just sometimes sometimes I would feel less bothered by, say, blood and gore, and sometimes I feel excessively more bothered by it. It's kind of unpredictable, and I have no idea why I have that change in how sensitive I am to things that bother me. Sometimes I won't care at all. Sometimes I'll care greatly. Sometimes I'll actually care in a way that's not normal. You shouldn't be okay eating fried chicken while watching the Jeepers Creepers movies. People thought that was odd, I wouldn't be hungry. I'm sorry, I'm fat, and I'm always hungry. Also, I'm depressed and stressed, and I eat to cope with things, because it helps me not feel so sad. It's not a healthy coping mechanism. But, yeah. I forget. What am I even fucking talking? Anyway, main point of this thing is I'll post this video in that playlist. And the main point I'm trying to say is this. I've never actually played this game before, Cyanoyuta, but I watched Let's Plays of it back when it came out, I think, in like the 2009 or 10 or some shit, I don't know. But of course, it's on YouTube, certain things are censored, and I thank fucking God. Because here's the biggest problem I have with Cyanoyuta. The lolicon. Granted, there's VTubers like that have certain models, and that's fine. I don't judge anybody for that stuff. I really don't care. But it's weird. It's not what I'm cool with. I mean, heck, I think the Will Wonderful World game had a scene that wound up happening, at which point I immediately just noped the fuck out of that game and uninstalled. Because there's just things happened I didn't expect, and I was like, oh shit, what the, oh my god. And I think I remember being just really bothered by it. But again, I don't judge people for whatever anime they look at. I mean, I really like Futanari. I like trap artists. I like both kinds. Both the music time, like dubstep that Ryan Reynolds listened to. Like, dubstep's awesome. But, heck, at one point, Korn did some dubstep. With, like, Skrillex and stuff. Okay, try not to get off topic. What was I talking about? I think dubstep? Was I talking about Deadpool? Still think it'd be interesting if Bryan Cranston played Mr. Sinister in a Deadpool movie. I know they already have a Deadpool 3 movie written up, so I can't really suggest it. You call it Deadpool 3. But how about a Deadpool 4 movie where Bryan Cranston's Mr. Sinister? I don't know. I don't remember what I was talking about. Main point I'm trying to say is, Cyanoyuta has an amazing soundtrack. The music in the game is phenomenal. It's absolutely wonderful music. Great sound effects, great dialogue, it's a great story, and most of all, I love the psychological aspects, not just about neuroscience and stuff like that, even though it's great, grandly, not just the Cthulhu aspects, which I am interested in that too, and the science stuff, but of course both the Cthulhu stuff and the science stuff are not exactly rooted very much in actual science. It's kind of like Baki the Grappler, when people get chunks of their arteries cut out, or a part where somebody's ripping out a fucking optic nerve out of somebody's neck. That's not how the human body works. Or the fact that they wind up getting injured so much, and like, you shouldn't be able to live through this. Or even then, it's like, it's pushing the boundaries of what should be realistic, not just in terms of, muscular capacity. Which, I mean, here's the thing. I think everyone should try to be the best version of themselves they can be. At the same time, I don't think you should have a six-pack on your chin. Like, I don't think that's physically possible. And even then, most people that are professional bodybuilders, a lot of those people do wind up having heart issues. So I'm just saying that your first priority should be being healthy, says the fat ass who eats pizza and cake. So I'm not healthy, but I love Pepsi. And drinking soda is probably not the best for you. But I enjoy an ice cold Pepsi. I have an addictive personality, so it's a good thing I've never actually done drugs. But I don't think I could ever stop drinking ice cold Pepsi. It's delicious. But I keep getting off topic. I'm sorry. Main point I'm trying to say is this. I saw a Let's Play of this game way back when, and of course, like I said, they had stuff censored, which, thank God, thank you. And that was like I'm okay with the gore and the aspect of that. I think that part of the story is fascinating. The form of agnosia that Sakasaki Fuminori has in the story. The idea of how a human, not just the science of a human being interpreting, data of, what things look like or sound like differently or taste, but there's also the Cthulhu stuff, those ideas like that, and just like I said, the art, like the color palette that's used, as well as for both the stuff in Fuminori's vision and in normal world, and of course the music's fascinating and the voice acting's great, and the story. I think the psychological, like it's almost like a psychological treatise on just how the human mind would react, not just to say isolation or feeling paranoia or feeling that the world itself finds you disgusting or that you find the world around you disgusting, or how human beings react to things that, you know, seeking things that are comforting. I mean, there was a Harlow experiment with like a monkey, with a wire monkey and a cloth monkey. There's also multiple experiments. They did the Stanford experiment and the what was it? There was the one about the people with prison guards. Then there was the one about the person being, you know, told they were a teacher and they were electrocuting people, and to see how it was supposed to be an experiment on how much people would just blindly obey authority. And you would just sort of tell the person to shock somebody and try to teach them how to learn how to do stuff. But of course, the person wasn't actually being shocked. But of course, all those experiments were deemed unethical. But I think even the Harlow experiment thing, the monkeys, I took back. I think that was done back when television was still black and white. In fact, I think a lot of old movies are pretty interesting. Take like the Planet 8 movies or Airplane movie, because it's granted movies are not an accurate, same way video games. It's like you can't say Bayonetta is an accurate depiction of real life, but art imitates life and life imitates art, especially in movies. And yes, movies are drawn up for drama and are gross exaggerations of the real world. But a lot of times, people make movies based on an artistic interpretation of how they see the world in the world they live in. So, and I do feel like things were less exaggerated back in the 60s and 70s, especially back before we had all the CGI stuff. But I feel it was a little bit of a little bit of a window into the past, though you have to keep in mind it's a movie. And a lot of times, people don't talk or behave the way they do in movies the way they do in real life. But the same way, that artistic vision that the director or writer of those movies had was based on an individual who grew up in that era. Same way, a Marvel movie is definitely not set in reality. There aren't people, flying around shooting lasers. But the way people talk to each other, the way they interact, it at least shows the thoughts and feelings and even beliefs of the person who wrote the movie. So you at least get a window into not just the era that the movie was made, but into what kind of person wrote the movie. Take the Doctor Strange movie. Okay, a person who lived in 2022 and how they feel about things, and particularly is how much they love comic book heroes. But it's still how people talk to each other. But even then, keep in mind, in real life, granted, most people probably don't talk as broken as I do, and I don't really talk this way, particularly in real life, because I'm able to be more controlled in the way I organize my sentence structure in real life, because I understand if I talk like this, it would be very hard to follow at times, and I'm not calling people stupid. I'm saying that I'm kind of all over the place with my sentence structure, and it just doesn't make very effective communication. But the problem is talking in a concise manner that is easy for everyone to understand, that isn't convoluted, is so much effort. I'd rather just talk the way I think, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just saying whatever pops in my head as soon as it pops in my head. I don't take time to filter what I'm saying. I don't take time to really care. I just think it and I say it. And that takes, it's a much more relaxing way to converse. Whereas in real life, you have to be, you have to actually think about what you're saying and say it in a way that's, more clear. I mean, that's the point of communication. I mean, in real life, you're trying to have actual, proper conversations with people. Whereas this, I can be as convoluted as I want because I don't have to bother reorganizing the thoughts in my head into a way that's more palpable with other people. I can just say whatever's on my mind. And apparently, just another thing is I wouldn't be able to just drawl on like this forever either. Most people would imagine would just be very annoyed if I had a conversation with them like this in real life. I think it would just be very annoying to people. But the thing is this, I also feel the need to just ramble and talk. I have the need to say these things, and if I wasn't recording it, I would just be pacing around my living room talking to myself. So this feels more healthy, I think, that I'm at least rambling at a rectangle that glows. Yes, I'm talking funny about my computer. But the main thing I'm trying to say is that the idea for this series, which hopefully wouldn't have such a convoluted, extended introduction in the future, but the main thing I'm trying to say is this. Movies, music, oh yeah, the idea art imitates life music, is that sometimes people watch movies and they will start, heck, I think sometimes I do kind of copy things from like Dragon Ball Z and stuff just because, yeah, Goku's cool, Vegeta's cool. Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. I'm sure there's people that can explain the idea better than me. Perhaps people that would actually bother writing out a script and actually, writing stuff out and organizing things. But I don't want to do that because that feels like work. And I don't do this to work. I do these videos because I find it relaxing. Even the like Super Meat Boy video. I still find it relaxing to scream cuss words at my computer. Okay? It's still fun. If I'm doing a video, it's because I feel like doing it. Even if it's because I'm slightly masochistic and sometimes I'm just being mean to myself. It's still something I'm doing because I just want to. But yeah, as far as like this series, I think, which I don't know if I'd even do anything more on this because I don't know what other games I would talk about. But it's just the idea came Sai on YouTube because it's just the psychological aspect of it is so fascinating. The idea of him seeing things like that and, his reaction to it as well as the eventual degradation of his ability to feel empathy and it's just the idea, and of course, a lot of us in real life can somewhat identify with Fuminori Sakisaka in regard to how we feel about the world and how we sometimes see certain things. But of course, none of us experience it anywhere near the level that he does. But of course, if we did, we wouldn't live very long. You wouldn't be able to function. But it is fascinating to see things from a scientific slash psychological aspect, even though it's very unrealistic. But it is a fascinating story. However, the main problem I have with Saya no Yuta, to the point that I was watching another thing that made me bring it up is this: I was watching a streamer, and they were playing. What game were they playing? Shit, Alien Isolation. Yeah, she was playing Alien Isolation, and there was like 10 or so people in the chat, and one of the people suggested Saya no Yuta out of the blue, and I was like, what? And then after that, I just wrote 10 lines of no, no, no. Because, I mean, all in all, it's a great story. The story, the music, it's fascinating. But the lolicon it's just, it's just really, why? Why did you guys go that route when you made the game? It's just fuck. And I understand kind of what they were going for with that. Is that there's an old thing because you guys remember like yokai and stuff, you know, the Japanese spirit monster stuff, you know, the urban legends. Like there's an old thing in the past that's like millennia's old, like thousands of years old. That's a story. It's like a TV trope. You guys ever see that what's it called? The website called TV Tropes, where they talk about common used things that are used between movies and video games. Well, a TV trope, you know, or like take Greek mythology. A lot of times in Greek mythology, you'll see common themes and things that get shown again and again and are things, or sometimes you'll see something and it'll mean something and it'll be used symbolically in place of something. And it's used in myth after myth and story after story. And a lot of times it's used in different cultures, even sometimes cultures that never met each other. They use certain things and certain allegories, and it's kind of interesting that they came to the same conclusion about something meaning something. And so I kind of understand where they're coming from with Saya no Yuta, that they wrote Saya to be, you know, a girl in white that's way too fucking young. But I understand where they're coming from in regard that it's supposed to be symbolic. After all, in old Japanese stories, a young woman, or girl in that case, because it's way too fucking young, in all white is supposed to symbolize innocence and purity. I mean, heck, one aspect of the story is the concept of a tabula rasa, or a blank slate. The idea that human beings are, or any sentient being, is shaped by the environment around them. Now, of course, you always have free will and choice, and there's always, some people would argue there's a genetic impact, whether it's, you know, brain chemistry or just your heritage. And of course, where you grow up, what kind of culture you live in, or even just how the people around you treat you. Like your parents, your family, your friends, the people you see on the street, how those people act and behave and how they treat you, how, the impact it has on you. Of course, there's also free will, and you choose how you are. That being said, that was, you know, a, kind of a theme there that, hey, a person is shaped by their environment. Now, of course, you can still choose how you want to be, but your environment and the way people are toward you and the way people talk to you and the resources available to you are, and even the food you eat are actually very, like, if you eat constant high sugar, high salt food, well, then you might be more agitated. Same way if you were to eat like a bucket of fried chicken, you might be a little lethargic afterward, you know? And that might affect your mood. And having your mood affected that way for a prolonged period of time, who knows, maybe that might affect you. Or say going to a school, or working at a certain job, or just certain interactions with people that, you know, say are just very angry or violent might affect you. You know? I forget where I'm going with this. I think it was like talking about tabula rasa and how people, or like, yeah, human mind or any sentient mind can be affected. I mean, heck, even take a dog or a cat. I mean, depending on how they're treated, they could be, even the breeds, like, you know, pit bulls and stuff that are considered more aggressive. I mean, it's really just the person taking care of it. Now, yes, they are more prone to aggression, but it is possible that a person, you know, treats it right, it'll be nicer. Now, of course, with any dog breed, no matter how nice you are to it, there's always that possibility. But that's always the case of any sentient being, and especially the more intelligent you get, the more propensity there is a possibility of violence, but there's also a greater propensity of good. I mean, take dolphins. Dolphins are actually more cruel and sadistic to their own kind and humans than. Granted, there are times where they do good things and they help others. There's times where they've saved humans. There's also times where they brutally murder their own kind. I mean, anyone says human beings are the only animals that do that. I mean, no, you have not seen the animal kingdom. Have you never watched Lion King? And I know that's a joke, but I have watched. I'm thinking about an edit where someone put Danny DeVito from Sunny in Philadelphia with that 2x4 knocking Mufasa down, and that's just kind of funny, you know, seeing Danny DeVito's expression. Okay, I'm off topic again. The main point I'm trying to say is that everyone should be nice to each other. I'm pretty sure that's not what we're trying to. We're trying to talk about, right, disastrous decisions in design in games. Basically, I want you guys to tell me in the comments. Like, I want you guys to tell me in the comments um, what video games, what movies, what books, what anime, what sitcoms, what movies, even ones that went straight DVD or ones that you saw in a theater. What design decisions did you feel were disastrous that ruined the movie, or ruined the video game, or ruined the anime, or ruined the sitcom? Like, what design decisions were made that you thought just ruined it for you? And like, say, Saya no Yuta, the design for Saya's character. That's, and again, I understand what they're going for. It's supposed to be a symbol of the tabula rasa. It's supposed to be a symbol of innocence and purity, and but it's just, I don't think Lolicon as a medium ages well. Like, I don't think it was ever very palpable to really anyone. And I think as time goes on, it becomes more sour and bitter in people's mouths. Now, of course, I still watch all kinds of anime that I'm like, okay, this character's short. But, whatever, don't fucking care. It's just drawing. At the same time, there's other things that push the envelope way further, and Saya is one of them. And it's just, I feel it ruins the game, because it's just, I don't want to see that. I don't want, and here's the thing, I can't recommend the game to people myself, because even when the one random person recommended it in that chat, I was just typed like 10 lines of no, because that's just something I don't want that streamer to play. Or because one, it would definitely not be appropriate to stream, and two, it's just no. I don't want that person to like throw up in their mouth. Like, I know, like, they've expressed what they feel comfortable with, and well, I don't want to make that person feel uncomfortable. That being said, the psychological aspect of the story, and most of all, the soundtrack, the music to this game is phenomenal. It's just, why did you design Saya to be a fucking child? It ruins the story. I understand it's supposed to be a Japanese folk tale type, TV trope about it's supposed to be a symbol of innocence and purity, but it doesn't work. And I understand it's supposed to somewhat show that Fuminori's become more depraved, but again, I don't think that was necessary. I think it was a decision in the creative process. And here's the thing, I don't really like censorship, but I do feel like there are certain things I'm like, you didn't have to go that route, developers of the game. Nitro Plus, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. I mean, honestly, the only thing that really bothers me is that. Like, honestly, if they just designed the game, but Saya was like in her 30s, that'd be fine. Have her be like 6'4" and appear like 30. That'd be fine. It still would have worked for the story. That's not supposed to be the main focus. I understand it's supposed to like a Shakespeare, analogy as well, in terms of Romeo and Juliet and the romance and valuing love and stuff. But it's just the design decision I felt ruined the whole fucking story. Like I said, just make Saya 30-something years old with giant tits and 6'4". Seriously. Why did... And again, I'm not trying to knock Nitro Plus's, story, because it's a great story. The psychological aspect of what Fuminori goes through and what he views. I mean, honestly, yes, all of us out here, we're not experiencing that, but to that degree, but we do feel just, at times, just... bothered by the world, or just more wanting to be isolated, I guess. Or at times feeling that you don't want to be isolated, but you feel that you are. It's interesting from a psychological aspect. But it's just, why did you make that design decision? Like, why did you make Saya a fucking child? It ruins the story. It ruins everything. But yeah, that's the main thing I want from you guys. I want you guys to share in the comments what movies, what video games, what visual novels, what actual physical novels, what anime, what TV sitcoms, what movies, what plays, what songs, music. I don't know what other kind of mediums I can describe. I ran out of media. Main point is this: tell me movies or music or video games or anime or whatever, or TV sitcoms or TV shows that had a either creative decision or a design decision that you felt just ruined the whole story, that you felt was completely unnecessary, that there was no reason for it to be included in the story at all, that one aspect, that decision that the writer made could have been removed from the story, and not only would nothing have been lost, but the overall product and story would have greatly benefited and been better. So yeah, that's the main thing I was trying to go with this video. I ran it on for like 46 fucking minutes. Is this: what were bad decisions in movies, for example, that you felt ruined the experience for you, that you felt didn't need to be in the movie, you felt it added nothing, and it actually actively took away from the movie and made the movie lesser, that the movie would have not only not lost anything from the story if it wasn't included, but it would actually become greater. So what design decisions do you think people made in, say, movies or music or anime or video games that you felt just ruined it? You can also include in video games game mechanics. Like, say if there's a fighting mechanic that you felt was tedious and monotonous. Like, take Dark Rose Valkyrie. A lot of the enemies inflicted status ailments all the time. It felt like I was playing a Final Fantasy VII mod where all the enemies were fucking Marlboros. Like, it was literally like every fight I was getting status effects out the ass. It was tedious as hell. Or take Deathmark, an amazing visual novel, but the way you have to play those fights in order to not get the bad ending is so hard to figure out. You have to have a guide. So yeah, it could also be like maybe a map was too difficult to navigate. You kept getting lost. Maybe it was a level up system that was too difficult or required too much level grinding. Or take music. Maybe it could be subject matter. It could be too much cussing. It could be that, I don't know, they used an instrument that you really didn't care for. I know some people don't like when some bands try new things. Like Korn did that little bit of dubstep, but I think it was nice, but of course a lot of people felt like it didn't really sound like Korn. But it's just, I know Korn's coming out with a new album as well. But of course, it's just, and of course some bands will try a new instrument, or they'll try an extra string, or a different type of sound effect, or a different kind of distortion on their guitar. Or take an artist might try a new art style, or might try a new color palette. Or take a TV sitcom. A lot of TV sitcoms, like take Family Matters. Like there's times where it went on long enough that sometimes a few of the actors had to be changed because a person either died or retired. But you wanted to keep the show going, so you had to replace it with someone. Heck, Doctor Who actually has a convenient way about this written into the story, the whole regeneration thing. So that way you can explain why the actor looks and sounds different. It's a regeneration. But, there's TV shows and sitcoms, which I'll say this. I really enjoyed, I think, just about all the Doctors in the Doctor Who series. Though I'd have to say I really enjoyed Peter Capaldi the best. But honestly, all of them were amazing. But each of them had their own different take on it. Each of it was amazing. That's kind of like take the Marvel movies, the multiverse stuff. Take Spider-Man. You had what? I think it was Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. And each of them did Spider-Man differently, but each interpretation of it was amazing. Or take the Joker. You had Jack Nicholson, you had Heath Ledger, you had Jared Leto, you had Mark Hamill, you had Joaquin Phoenix. Now I know there was also one that was teased toward the end of the newest Batman movie, but I don't remember. I don't even know who the actor was, and of course it was just like a teaser. And then there was also one in a Gotham TV show. But I mean, heck, another way to look at it is this: Batman. Of course, I can't remember the new Batman. I don't remember his name. But of course, there was also what, Clint Eastwood, I think, or was it Clint Eastwood or George Clooney? Which one? I think it was George Clooney. And then there was I don't remember who voice acted. Well, actually, I don't need to remember who voice acted. I don't need to look it up. I have a thing of Batman Beyond right here, and Batman Animated Series over there. I don't feel like walking to get that. You're not even telling me who the voice actor for Terry McGinnis is. Son of a bitch. No, I'm not going to. I don't want to walk over there. I'm lazy. Fuck. I was just kind of hoping it would list it. Just tell me who the actor who voices Terry McGinnis is. But that's another thing. Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis. That's a different interpretation of Batman. And he's pretty cool too. Ow, my knees. My knees hated that. Where the fuck did I put that? I swore it was over here. Nope, not that pile. I know you're around here somewhere, Batman. Give me a moment. There's Plunderer of the anime. Where the fuck are you, Batman? Seriously? How am I not finding you? Why is Batman so hard to find? I know I have you. There you are. Okay. Ow. Okay. You're telling me it doesn't even tell the voice actor here? Assholes. Okay, let's just open this up. Okay. So many fucking discs. It's a lot of Batman in the Batman animated. 12 disc set. All 109 action-packed episodes with over 35 hours of crime fighting. Anyway, it's not listing the name of the actor. I'm just saying, that voice actor, that's an interpretation of Batman. You also have, shit. What's his name? Shit. Guy did the movie with Heath Ledger and Tom Arnold. Not Tom Hardy, right? Who's the guy who's in the Venom movie too? In Mad Max. He actually did an amazing job, by the way. Fuck. Neil? Now, there was also a guy from Beetlejuice. was his name? Val Kilmer? No, Adam Keaton? Michael Keaton? He was the Vulture in Spider-Man, wasn't he? He was also. It's Michael Keaton, right? Yeah, I think Michael. No, I don't think that's right. I can't remember. Shit. Um, there were some other people, and then there was the Dark Knight trilogy guy. No, Reeves was the original Superman. Adam West, I mean, that's a Batman, but that's a much earlier Batman. Fuck, what was his name? Son of a bitch. I'm trying. Fuck. I still think Ben Affleck was the best Batman. I liked the Ben Affleck Batman the best. I thought he was great. I liked Ben Affleck Batman the best. But I still want to remember the other guy's name. Fuck. I should remember this. Fuck it, I'm getting my phone. Okay. Type this in my phone. Okay. Type in Dark Knight Trilogy. Director is Christopher Nolan, but that's not who Batman is. Who plays Batman? Why is it so hard to find out? Like, also, who is Nolan? Like, why does that name keep popping into my head? He's got to have something to do with either Deadpool or DC Universe or Marvel. Got to be somebody like probably on the level of Stan Lee, but I can't remember. Christian Bale. That's who Batman was. It was Christian Bale. Okay. Took me a while to find that on my phone. Anyway, yeah, main thing I was just trying to say is this. What movies? Tell me in the comments. What TV show or movie or anime or video game or whatever did they have a terrible game mechanic? Did you have an anime where they did terrible CGI? Where they did really bad drawings? You could see that they fucked up and how they were drawing, or the voice acting was terrible, or the game mechanics were bad, or it was just way too fucking hard, or way too easy, or the story was too short, or there's something about the story you didn't like or agree with, or you felt like it was pandering to somebody, or it was trying to piss you off, or it was talking about something you didn't agree with, or it was trying to be more about some sort of like point or moral or story, like some sort of morality thing instead of, the story, or it was like a change of direction. For example, like, how do you feel about the Joss Whedon version of the Injustice League, or the Zack Snyder version? Or how about this? Take the movie Hancock, that movie where Will Smith was like a superhero. Like, the first half of it feels like a very different movie, but that's because I think they changed directors halfway through. So each director had a different way of writing a story. So I don't know. It can be about anything. Like, take a Batman movie. Was there a Batman movie or a superhero movie you didn't like? If so, what didn't you like? What decision did they make in the story that you felt was wrong, that bothered you, rubbed you a wrong way? Like, what did you think ruined the story for you? What did you think that not only didn't add anything to the story, but actually took away from the story and almost ruined the whole story for you? Like, ruined the experience. Like, imagine you went to a movie and you were watching the movie and it's just take what was it? The Sherlock Holmes movie, the one with Will Ferrell. I think Will Ferrell. I find the comedy funny a lot of times, but the Sherlock Holmes movie was really tasteless in a lot of parts. And I remember hearing a lot of times like there were people who watched it in theaters. They just walked out in the first few minutes, particularly probably the scene where he had to kiss a donkey's asshole. And it was just like I've watched all the Jackass movies, and I will say that the most recent Jackass movie was by far the most vulgar, and at times I felt like they were actually going to die. But there were times where, like, all in all, I've watched all the Jackass movies. I'd say the most recent one was the most um, gross. But yeah, like, which I'm sure there might be certain skits and things. Why is my eyeball so itchy? Like my left eye itches so much. How do you itch your eye? It itches so much. It's not wet. It's just so itchy. Like I'm just eye is closed and I'm pushing my palm and my left eyeball. It itches so much. Why are you itchy? It's so fucking itchy. Why? Why are you suddenly so itchy? But um fuck. I don't remember. It's not about Jackass. Oh yeah, it's Johnny Knoxville's in WWE now. That's really cool. I think that's pretty funny. I enjoy it. I imagine he's probably getting hurt, but I mean, he's been hit by actual fucking bulls. So I imagine a human being's not going to hit as hard as a bull. But then again, he has gotten knocked unconscious from both humans and bulls. So honestly, I don't envy him on either, and I'm still trying to itch my eye. Why are you so itchy? This is so uncomfortable. Why are you not okay, eyeball? Fuck you. Don't be itchy. I need you to see things. And right now you're kind of fucking blurry. That hurts a little bit. Anyway. Eye is still excessively itchy, trying to ignore it. Ah, it's so fucking itchy. What the fuck do I scratch my eye with? What are you supposed to do in this situation? Ah! But, not really sure what I'm talking about. But yeah, just like, tell me, what movies? Oh, that reminds me. At one point, there was a movie called Into the Woods. I think it had like James Corden or something in it. He has like a TV show now, like a Jay Leno type show or something. It's a comedian or something. But like he was a, it was called Into the Woods, and it was like somewhat based off of like the old what are they called, fairy tales, and I was expecting it to be done as a straight up horror movie. I didn't know it was a musical. I went into something that I expected to be a horror movie, and it was a musical, and I felt so confused and so caught off guard because I was expecting like Wes Craven level shit, and instead I get Broadway, and I'm like, what? This is not what I expected. So yeah, I don't know where we're going with this. Okay, I'm just gonna end the video because we're already past an hour, and this was only supposed to be like 5 minutes. But I guess I got a little carried away with talking about shit. Main point is this: tell me in the comments what TV show or movie like ruined everything for you by making a really bad decision in terms of either creativity or designs or aesthetics. You know, what movie did you watch that a decision the writer or director made kind of just ruined the whole movie and experience for you, ruined the whole story. Anyway, bye guys.